Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Ken, also known as Mr. Ken Dennis. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing another get ready with me, get to know me video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys click on the subscribe button down below and that bell so you get notified when I do upload a video. I basically do a lot of beauty, hair and makeup related videos, and I also vlog about my personal life. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so let us begin. So as you guys can see, I've only got my contacts in. I've primed my skin, you know, with moisturizers and whatnot. But today I thought I would do another get ready with me, get to know me sort of like video, because you guys seem to really enjoy those videos. I'm not really sure if it's because of the topics or if it's because you guys are actually interested in knowing who I am. But in today's video, I thought I would share with you guys stories of some of the guys that I have dated before getting to my partner. Alright, so I'm just going to start off with the eyes. I'm just going to apply a little bit of eye primer. Now guys, this is going to be a general chit chat sort of like video. If you guys would like to know what specific products I used in this video and I forgot to mention it on camera, definitely check out the description box down below. I always update that. If you guys are new to my channel or don't know much about me, I've been with my partner for nearly 4 years. Been very happy, smooth sailing, but to get to him, oh my gosh, it was so, let's just say there were so many weird guys and weird dates that I had to be on before I met my partner, and like when I met my partner, I'm like, oh my god, this is so refreshing, I'm so happy. Alright, so I'm just grabbing the Naked Heat palette. Okay, I guess a lot of you guys would also ask, like, when did I officially come out? I officially came out when I was 15. I came out over the phone to my mum. It was just, well, it was just easier that way if I came out over the phone, because yeah, couldn't deal with that. Anyway, that's a different story. Sorry guys, I didn't realize that my camera wasn't recording. I'm basically using the shade Cayenne as a transition color. So the first story I wanted to share with you guys is about this guy named Brian, alias. So he and I were just chatting online, and by the way, I don't meet people at bars, restaurants or gatherings and stuff like that. I tend to kind of like be oblivious to that sort of thing, like when someone's hitting on me. I don't know, I feel like I'm a little bit awkward in that sense, so meeting people online is the easiest way for me, and that's pretty much not changed. I mean, like, I've met a lot of my friends through YouTube, so yeah. Anyway, we met online, we started chatting, and then he invited me to go out for drinks with him, and then, you know, it was all nice and chilled, and then we ended going back to his place and, you know, just having a few more drinks and just like chatting, and then he leaned over and, you know, we started, you know, making out, I suppose. Don't worry, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that sort of thing, but he basically was kissing me, and then he called me by another name, and I said, like, no, that's not my name, I'm actually, you know, he was pretty drunk, so I wasn't, you know, offended or anything. I just thought, like, well, maybe his mind's just like all over the place. He basically said,
oh my god, I'm so sorry, I just called you my dead fiance's name.
And oh my god, that just completely ruined it for me. I was just like, oh, I can't compete with a dead fiance. Like, I like you, you're really cute, you're really nice, but oh my god, he was such a drunk mess. And, you know, and he kept apologizing the whole night. It was just like honestly, there was no way of salvaging that. I mean, like, we just met, and then you get really drunk, and then you're telling me about your dead fiance. And I honestly did not know how to react, so I was just like sitting there just trying to be, I don't know, try to comfort him, because he got really upset. And mind you, I was like on the mindset, like, we're on a date. I actually really like this guy. I want to be, you know, I want this to kind of like go somewhere. But no, he started like sobbing and like telling me about his dead fiance. And I was like, clearly you're not over him, so I don't think you should be dating. So yeah, I mean, I just left. Like, once he calmed down, like, you know, he just kept apologizing, but I was just like, you know, it's cool, man. Like, yeah, clearly you're not over him. I don't think you should be putting yourself out there just yet, because yeah, that's just a little bit too much. So over the next few days, he did, you know, try and contact me, just like messaging me, and like kept apologizing about how things went. But honestly, it was done. Like, I was done from the get-go. Alright guys, so today I'm feeling like a halo eye. So I'm just trying to make like the inner corner and the outer corner quite dark, but I'm just gonna leave that center bit quite free from eyeshadow as much as I can. Not that it's going to matter because I'm going to be putting something quite bright in the center anyway. Okay, next I'm going to grab the Urban Decay Nocturnal Shadow Box palette, and I'm going to grab that shade Lounge, and I'm just going to pop it onto the center lid. Okay, so the next story that I want to share with you guys is with a guy named Arthur. So this happened when I already moved to Australia. I was already a university student. I basically got back from Hong Kong. I think I went over for a Christmas holiday or something. But I got back and I was at the airport waiting for my train, and I went on one of the apps and I was just like, no, oh, he's okay. Started talking to him. He seemed really nice. He just didn't have sort of like an agenda. I don't know, like I feel like when you go on these apps, there's always sort of like an agenda for most people, but he just didn't. He just wanted to kind of like just chat and get to know me, which was quite refreshing. So we arranged to meet up in Sydney, I think 2 weeks later. So I did go up to Sydney. We had a really nice date. It was like a sort of like a picnic at Hyde Park. You know, we bought a few things and we just kind of like sat on the grass, like started talking, and you know, it was a really nice date. And then we arranged to meet up with each other again, I think a week later, but in Wollongong. I don't really know what he was doing in Wollongong, but he said like, oh, I'm coming down to Wollongong, I would love to see you down there. And you know, I was like, okay, cool. So he came on a day that I had university on, in the afternoon. So I met up with him in the morning. I think it was a hotel. His hotel was really close to one of the major train stations, so I just popped by, see how he was, and sort of like arrange what we were gonna do for the rest of the day. So everything was fine and dandy, you know, like we had coffee, we had, I think, brunch, and then I went off to university. And then a few hours later, I just kept messaging him, you know, throughout the day, like, oh, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go explore the city or the town while I'm at university? And he was like, yeah. And everything was fine and dandy. And then when I finished my last class for the day, I started messaging him. He didn't respond. And back then, I think my campus had very bad reception for the network I was with, so I didn't really think much of it. I thought maybe like my messages just weren't sending. So when I got back to my dorm, you know, started to freshen up, I started messaging him again. Didn't really respond. I went on the apps that we spoke on and he never responded, like he didn't even show up. So I was starting to get a little bit worried, so I started calling him and it just went straight to voicemail. And I don't know, like I felt so, I suppose, devastated because like, what's going on? I thought we were okay. I thought everything was going okay. And I honestly did not hear from him for 4 months. Oh no, actually maybe even 6 months. Like it was a long ass time, and honestly I was so upset because I felt like, what did I do? Because there was absolutely no communication. Like he totally ignored all my text messages, and whenever his phone was on and I tried to ring him, he didn't respond. I didn't know what went wrong. I think it was one of those times in my life where I was so desperate to sort of like have a boyfriend or have a connection with someone on an intimate level like that, but I just, every time someone would just like not talk to me after a while, it just felt so devastating. But because this one kind of progressed to like a few more dates and just like talking, it was a lot more devastating. And then I don't think I heard from him for like 6 months, and then out of the blue he just messaged me and he apologized and said that he suffers from depression, and then that afternoon he just felt so depressed and he just completely cut himself off from the rest of the world. And yeah, I don't really know if that was the real reason. Like I know depression does that to some people, but I just felt like, wow, that was a bit intense. Again, I didn't really know him that well, and again, I think I might have just been so hung on the idea like I could possibly be dating someone that it felt so much worse. But yeah, so I guess, yeah, Arthur and I would have never worked out anyway, looking back at it now, but it was just like, at the time, it was so devastating. Alright, sweet. Now I'm going to go on to primer. So I'm just going to grab my Benefit Professional Primer. So I'm just going to finish off my base and then we'll move on to the next story. Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. I have tried it out a couple of times already and I have to say I'm pretty impressed. I really like it. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a pump. It just comes out like with a ball like this. I do have to say I probably got a shade too dark, but honestly you don't need too much of this product, so I'm just sort of like dotting it in areas that I know I'll need more coverage. But yeah, and it does get a little bit messy up there. If you guys are interested in a proper product review, definitely let me know. I don't know if I should because I feel like the internet's so saturated, but look at that. Those few dots have gone a long way already. As you guys can see, clearly not my color, so I'm just gonna put some down on my neck. But while I do that, I thought I would share the next sort of like tragic date I had. We'll call this guy Lachlan. I met him in Sydney. As you guys can see, I pretty much spent a lot of time in Sydney when I was still living in New South Wales. I met him on an app and he seemed quite interesting, and he was just like trying to meet some new friends, and I think at that time I was just kind of like looking for a friend in Sydney because I think I was about to graduate and I was thinking of moving up to Sydney, and I wanted to, you know, have more friends up there so that if I moved up there I wouldn't be so lonely because all my friends would be staying in Wollongong or would move back to their hometowns. So I started messaging people and seeing like if they wanted to hang out. So that's how we kind of like started. Lachlan and I were just kind of like very friendly at first. We met at Bondi Junction, and honestly I had no idea how to get there. I just used the apps and I was still confused as hell how to get to and from. Anyway, we met up, we started chilling, we had a coffee, and then we kind of like realized there was something there, like a connection. So we both agreed to kind of like explore that avenue. I think we just pretty much spent the whole day. Back then I was still living in Wollongong, and whenever I'd go up to Sydney I'd only do sort of like day trips. I would never really stay overnight or anything like that, unless it's like a really close friend of mine. So I've got two concealers. I have got Tarte Shape Tape, which I think is a little bit... Actually no, with this foundation it works. I have gotten so pale, guys, that this concealer, I haven't really been able to use it without using another concealer, like a lighter one. Anyway, back to the story. Yeah, so I would never really stay up in Sydney. So, you know, we pretty much spent the whole day with each other, just kind of like chilling at cafes and parks, you know, just kind of like seeing what the city had to offer, because I was still fairly new to Sydney as well. I didn't really know that many places, and I think I had already lived in Sydney for a couple of months, so he already knew some of the sites and places to go to. So we kind of like explored those places together, and overall it was a pretty good experience. He said that he was going to come down. I think one of my friends had a birthday that weekend. I was living in a dormitory, so you know, there was like, I don't know, 300 people in that dormitory. We all had our own rooms. But yeah, one of my close friends at the time, she was having a birthday party, I think, so I invited him over so he could sleep at my dorm and, you know, just chill with us. But that day, because I lived near a beach as well at that time, so we decided to hit the beach, and I didn't really tell my friends. I just kind of wanted to keep it like, sort of like an intimate, just between the two of us, because at that point I was still like not sure what we were doing, if we were going to explore sort of like a romantic avenue or just sort of like friends. So we went to the beach, it was all nice and dandy, and then my friends showed up, and I don't know, like he acted a little bit weird when I pointed it out, and then him being weird also made me feel a little bit weird that my friends were there. I guess I felt like we're here together. So he sort of like started to hide himself, and I don't know, I felt like I needed to do that too, which looking back now, hindsight, that was absolutely terrible. But yeah, my friends picked up on that, and I think that night when they got to speak to me alone, they did say they didn't really like how he had that sort of like effect on me, and I do have to agree that was sort of like, I don't know what happened. I'm not proud of what I did at that point. Alright, well I can't find my Cover FX powder, so I'm just going to use my NYX face powder. Yeah, so I wasn't really proud of what I did, but anyway, back to the story. We started having drinks in one of my friend's rooms, and we didn't really go out. We just kind of like stayed in, and Lachlan and I just went back to my room, and then, you know, it was like a late night, so we decided to go to bed. And everything was fine and dandy. I thought he was okay. Like, he said like he could hold his liquor no issues or anything. So I think we had been asleep for like a good 2 hours, and then all of a sudden
I hear him vomiting.
and this was back when I was living at the dorm, so I only had like a single bed because that's the only bed they would provide you. So we were both like together smushed onto this like single bed, and then I could hear him vomiting, and he was like in the corner. I was like on the side where you can pretty much get out of the bed, and honestly, I was not disgusted because, as if you guys don't know, I'm a nurse. I was a nurse already before going back to university as well. So stuff like that doesn't faze me, but he woke up and he was just like such in a daze. So I helped him out, cleaned him up, cleaned the room and everything. The next day, he sort of acted weird and just like left. Like he didn't really stay for breakfast. Like he did have breakfast, but he didn't really stay to chat. He just kind of like bolted, and I was just like, that is so weird. Like, and then again, stops talking to me for 2 weeks. And then after the 2-week period, he did say that his nan had issues, like I think health problems, so he didn't really want to talk to me, and he just wasn't in the right mind space. And I was just like, oh, here we go again. Anyway, that was all fine. I said like, look, I think we should just stay at friends anyway. I don't think we're gonna work out, and he did not take that like kindly. He sort of started sending me sort of like angry text messages. Nothing too obsessive, but you could tell he was upset by my response, which is I suppose normal. So yeah, and then after that we just kind of like lost contact. Revlon Sculpt and Highlight Kit. Yeah, so that was Lachlan. He was a bit, I don't know, he's like I would say he was
It was a whirlwind of emotions.
Alright, for a dial contour, I'm using number 4 this time. So yeah guys, I've had quite the experience in terms of dating. Like, you know, not all of them have been like super weird, just a lot of them never clicked, but these are like some of the guys that I've dated that have just had like the weirdest, I suppose, I've had the weirdest time with. It's just like, I don't know. But the only blush that I seem to be gravitating towards these days is Warm Soul by MAC. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Nicole Guerrero Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. Grabbing my ginormous fan brush. I think I'm going to mix a few colors today. I'm going to be grabbing Glow Getter and 143, so just like that. Alright, so I'm just going to go back into the Urban Decay palette, and I'm just going to do my under eye. I'm just going to grab Ashes and Enfuego, mix them together, and then just draw that under eye smokiness. So yeah, there you guys go. Those are some of the guys that I've dated that I've had like weird experiences with. I don't really have any more sort of like juicy stories. Every other sort of like date that I've been on have been just really bland and mediocre. Nothing really much to talk about. But I suppose I still have much to go with on my face before I finish the video. Alright guys, so as you guys can see, I've got my brows done and I've also got my lashes on. I basically did my brows off camera because I'm joining a benefit competition. So if you guys are interested in seeing a brow routine, I'll have it linked down in the description box down below, or the alternative is click on the subscribe button and that bell so you know when it comes out. Anyway, enough self-promo. Yeah, so I did that, which is why my brows are already done. And let's see, I think the only thing that's left are the lips and just a setting spray. So I'm going to grab Kylie Cosmetics a Malibu lip liner, and then the actual liquid matte lipstick in Malibu as well. Next I'm going to grab my Skindinavia Makeup Finishing Spray. Alright, so there you guys go. That is the final look. I'm really enjoying how this whole look came together. I mean, like the eyes, the contacts, the eyeshadow, the hair, I feel like it all complements each other, and it's just, I don't know, it's very nice and seductive. What do you guys think? And also, if you guys have any other suggestions of topics you guys would like me to talk about in my next Get to Know Me Getting Ready With Me video, definitely leave me a comment down in the comment box down below. But yeah, there you guys go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!